He is known as a doctor, Dr. Kyle. Kilala rin siya as sa YouTube channel niya, advising or throwing some healthy tips. For tonight's episode, we will discuss his journey for being a student, now as a professional doctor. Pero mas curious ako to talk about his life lessons, mga sinacrifice niya, and paano siya pag off the clock. Please welcome Dr. Kyle Yenko. Yes!
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Alright. Kyle, how are you? Thank you. Thank you for saying yes to this interview.
Of course.
Nakakatuwa kasi pinanonood ko rin si Kyle sa kanyang YouTube channel and sabi ko, this is a good person to be interviewed with. Okay, Kyle, before we go to the whole medical thing, actually mas gusto kong pag-usapan ko talaga ano yung mga pinagdaanan mo like your journey going through this profession. Because not everyone naman. Okay, fine. Lahat ng mga Filipino, gusto nila lahat ng mga anak nila mag-medical field, no? Pero okay, anyway, your background, before the whole thing, ano ba mga humble beginnings mo?
Humble beginnings. Wow. Where do I even start? Well, I'm a third culture kid, first generation immigrant.
Okay.
Was born and raised in a little island in the middle of the Philippines. It's called Negros Occidental.
Ah, talaga?
Yeah. And it's shaped like a sock if you look at the map.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it's known for our chicken inasal.
Ah!
Yeah.
Okay.
And, we have chicken inasal, and then we have rice. Sugar plantations. I think at one point we were supplying 6% of the world's sugar. So a lot of that going on.
Buong family mo ay nasa Philippines?
Yes. Immediate families here. But I have a lot of extended family in the Philippines.
Oh, so you go home naman?
I try. It's funny because ever since, all my friends and classmates, they would go to different countries that are like, Kyle, where do you go? And I just say, I just go to the Philippines. For 13 times, I would just go back home. I moved here when I was 14 or 15. And because it's just different, it's home, but at the same time, I'm Filipino-American.
Okay.
But I still consider myself Filipino, so that's why I always go back home.
As a kid, we're in Negros Occidental. You always have that calling, or not calling, that ambition to be a doctor, or yung ba talaga ang first mo? Di ba when they're actually trying to claim what is your ambition, yun na ba naging una mong nasa isip mo?
That's a very good question. I grew up. I didn't know what I wanted to do growing up to begin with. My sister already knew she wanted to be a lawyer. Now she is a lawyer now.
Yeah, I saw that. I was actually doing my research.
Yeah. So I was also during family reunions like, where's Kyle? What's Kyle doing? And I'm always like, Kyle's probably just, playing with his playmates and playing with his street friends and stuff. So I didn't really know what to do. But as I grew up, I've learned how that I love people. I love getting to know people, and I like the aspect of healing. The healing aspect.
Bata pa lang ito. Teenager ka pa lang or bata pa to?
I would say teenager, because my parents worked in a hospital as well, and I visited them, and they were working with athletes.
Oh, okay.
It was called Health South back in Las Vegas. I like the healing environment, and I also like sports. I wanted to work with, I think growing up, it was Manny Pacquiao, right? So I wanted to be in an environment where I could help people and be in a, sport-related environment too. So I feel like work wouldn't be like work anymore. So hence,
pero yung initial na yon, doctor na ba yung naiisip mo? No, hindi lang yun. Nakita mo lang yung mga ganong bits and pieces of what you want to do.
No, so I didn't know. I just wanted to be happy. That's what I wanted to do. So it doesn't matter. Most immigrant parents would be like, you should be a doctor, you should be an engineer, you should do this and that. But my parents were very liberal. They're very left-leaning. And as far as their views are very progressive. So all they wanted is for me to be their children to be happy. So they were like, "Yo, Kyle, what do you like to do?" I was like, "Well, I like people. I'm an extrovert.
You are an extrovert.
I would say I'm an extrovert.
Okay.
I would say because I get energy. Because I know during COVID times when everyone was like indoors, I was also indoors. I was kind of like, I was losing energy. So I feel like I just like to get to know people.
Mm-hmm.
So people, sports, and also
So you connect all that, no?
to connect all that,
And the healing.
the healing and being in that environment. So
Oh.
I wanted to meet Manny Pacquiao as well, which I still haven't met him yet.
You will. Anyway, so we're talking when you have this moment during your teenager years, right? So nung nag-college na, ay hindi naman, pa-college na, when did you make decision, okay, you know what, parang bet ko maging doctor?
I didn't even want to be a doctor. I just wanted to know that I wanted to be in rehab. But then physical therapy, they wanted it to be a doctorate degree because
okay.
So physical therapy, just to give you just a big picture, we help people get out of pain through conservative treatment, so you don't have to go through surgery. We help you move, move better,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as simple as picking up your kid.
Like you simple pagpuha lang nun, you guys are
We help you do whatever what tailor made towards your goals, get you out of pain, so to move better and feel better.
Okay. So, but how's the college life noon time?
College life, so as far as what?
Ano yung mga na-sacrifice mo? Kasi syempre, di ba, parang feeling ko, like, among, like, my friends who is actually entering the medical field, they're very intense when it comes to their studying. They sacrifice a lot. Like, even the means of, like, going out, or, like, just simple going out to dinner with friends. They just rather just go study.
Yeah, I definitely gave up. I would say I'm similar to Josh in a way that I love meeting people, going parties and stuff. So I didn't want to be like an MD, but I also wanted to, because I feel like my brain, I'm always wanting to learn new things. I get restless. So college life, I had to give up a lot of things. For example, during exam days, for example, it was like 2 to 3 days before an exam. It was Friday night. I had the decision whether to
go out
or stay in. So a lot of my friends, I had to give up some friends, and even my relationships suffered.
What?
I don't even
So being an extrovert person, and then the decision just to be studying by yourself,
very,
right?
very different.
Like for me, like, just do that to me, that's gonna be one of my growing pains, but how, what do you tell yourself when those times are coming? Like yung mga ganun situation that, hey, you know what, I have to study over, like.
Yeah, that's a good point. What I do every day is I have a picture of what I want my life to be. Like a good family. In Filipinos, I love being family oriented, and a house and my dream car. I'm not gonna say what it is, but a dream car. So I just draw it, and every time I take a test, I would say, oh, this is the car, this is a door to my car, this is the door to my house, this is a gift I could give whoever my future wife is gonna be. Thank you very much for coming with me, by the way. Over there, so, you know who you are.
Ganda. Okay.
Yes.
So can you consider that as one of the most thing that you sacrifice just to get to this?
I would say I sacrificed even my romantic relationships, because a lot of the breakups of my previous relationships came from I had to make a decision whether I would choose the relationship or school.
Talagang it's so hard to weigh it down. Okay.
Think about your hardest classes in undergrad. It's not only it's difficult, but it's the amount and the quantity of how much you need to learn every day, right? And because you're also, that's just that's why doctors. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, by the way. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to say. But we are only 5% of the population, because it's very rigorous. We started off there during enrollment. There was 5,000 people enrolled, and only 48 people were accepted. So I was lucky enough to be one of the 48, and then we dropped to 38.
You're talking about the ratio of being Filipino?
No, the people who enrolled, and these people enrolled from
Oh.
different countries as well.
Just
So,
like, oh wow,
in one
oh, blessed
school.
ka, ha? That's
so
good.
I got
Wow.
lucky enough to. But all these schools here, fun fact, most schools here rejected me.
Talaga?
Yeah, and then I got accepted to like a Jewish school and then in a private school.
You know, you raise a good point there. Like, you know, like or like that you can't mix that personal thing over your study, right? Was there a time that you cannot juggle that personal, like for example, the romantic relationship that you encountered before? Meron bang time na ibabaw, like that was more giving you more hard time than the studies?
Yes.
Talaga.
All the time, because obviously when my previous partners they weren't in the medical field, so they didn't understand what it was, how rigorous it was, so they would always wanted time and effort,
Yeah.
birth, alam ng mga Pilipino
The
tayo.
cheesies.
And then I'll be honest too, I was also too focused that sometimes I would even forget their birthdays because that's how stressful it was. So
how long was the span for this?
oh man, well, undergrad was usually it's 4 years, but I took my time. I took 5 years for undergrad, 3 years for grad school, and then I took some residency. So total of 9 to 10 years total.
Wow. If I could remember, the year that we met was 2009.
Oh, you did the research.
2009, yes. That was during the time when I was promoting. During that time, nandun na ba na-imagine mo na ba yung sarili mo from today that na yun na yung mangyayari?
That time, my biggest decision was deciding what jeans to wear on a Friday night. Until my grandfather had cancer about 7 years ago, and
no.
that's when I exponentially
Doon na
grew up.
yung fire mo to finish this.
No,
Doon na
I
nag-start.
was about to take board exams. I had to. Yeah, I graduated 2016. My grandfather from the Philippines. He didn't want to go here, but I told him, "Hey, Lolo, pumunta ka na dito. Come here and please just attend my graduation."
He made it?
And then a month he made it because he didn't like flying. He's like, I'm old. I don't want to go here, but he went to my graduation, and a month after he was diagnosed of cancer.
Oh no.
So,
Sorry to hear that. But I bet your Lola's gonna be proud of you. So, diba? Sino ang naging most influential person mo during the whole time when you were studying? Sino yung mga inspiration mo pala? I'm sorry, not influential.
inspirational. I would say I'm very close with my mom and my dad and my sister and my grandfather. That's why I was very close with him. I grew up with him.
Family-oriented ka, I can sense it. Okay.
I would call my when there were difficult times. Never a day I would call my grandfather every single day when I was feeling. And there was never a time, no matter how sleepy he was, he would always pick up the phone and talk to me on the phone because that's just what kind of a grandfather he was. That was his true north. His calling in life was to mold the family, and that was he said in life, if you were happiness, it's a decision that you make every day, and you have to pick what makes you get up in the morning. And he said,
that's beautiful.
so as long as you find that, then he said it's family. So every decision he made was about family. So I was his true north. So that's why even 2 a.m. he's old, he would talk to me on the phone.
Was there a time that you almost gave up? Like, ayoko na nito. Parang ganun.
Grad school?
You did?
Yeah, there were times where I would, my classmates.
Like, kung ba ginagawa to?
Yeah, of course. Like, mga classmates ko a lot of my classmates were American. They grew up here. They're very used to being independent on their own. And that was my first time being away from family. So there were so many times that I just wanted to go home, pack my bags, and just be done with this.
Be done with it? Wow.
I would go home like 3-day weekend. I would just drive back or fly back home to the Bay Area because almost every week we have our families are so tight, and just being uprooted from that and being it was very 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 difficult.
Saan ka ba nag-aral? Where did you graduate?
So grad school, I graduated in Western University of Health Sciences in Pomona. I don't know if you guys seen the Bill Nye the Science Guy. He's around that area. He graduated in Pomona.
I see. So when you step into the college, right? Was your first interest is in the physical therapy na? Yun na talaga decided ka na? Or you have other medical field that you are actually looking into?
Well, a lot of my classmates, they became doctors of medicine, like a doctor, and like they wanted to do that. Like the others became dentists, engineers, but I choose the physical therapy, doctor of physical therapy.
That day, sabi mo, pagpasok mo, step into college, decided ako, yun na yung gagawin ko, physical therapy na.
At that time, yeah, because I remember they were like, oh hey, we need someone to. Because I went to California State University, East Bay. This is my undergrad school. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's it goes like you need to take your general classes, the core classes, and then you go into grad school, right? So
Ang haba pala, okay.
Very long. So 4 years of undergrad and then 3 years of grad school, and if you want to specialize, you could go into residency. Basically takes up like almost a quarter of your life.
So you did all that?
I did all that.
Oh wow, I'm proud of you. Wow, that's good. Well, it may took like some part of your life, but alam mo yun, I think the fact that you actually go for what your really ambition is, I think what you're passionate about, I think that's more important, diba? Balik tayo ulit dun sa specialty mo. What is so special about your specialty?
What's so special about my specialty?
Yes.
I think is that I could get people out of pain by simply teaching them a simple move. To segue, I think one of your questions. Can I segue with it?
Go.
I was reviewing Josh's question for me last night, and I think a really beautiful question he asked is like, what memorable patient?
Yes.
So I think this came through because I work in my patient population. I work in Oakland and San Leandro and Hayward, so it's a lot of I would say middle to lower socioeconomic classes, and I like working with people like that or that type of population because I grew up in that. I grew up in the Philippines. It's a developing country. So there was this lady. She was an immigrant from Mexico. I can't say her name. Her job was she was selling fruits on the street. She had 3 kids, and she was the breadwinner of her family. And she came to the clinic because her insurance wasn't that good, so she only had like 3 visits with me. So I wanted to come up with a way to, if she does, because she was in severe back pain. And if I didn't get to help this lady out, that would mean her children would not be able to go to school. I think she had 3 kids.
Wow.
And her husband was disabled as well. So I gave her a stretch, a very simple stretch. I was like, do you have a belt at home? And she did, and then I taught her a simple stretch, and I just told her to keep walking because she strained her back. And that helped her. Within the second visit, she felt really better. She felt really good, and she's like, thank you so much, Anthony. And she gave me fruits or something. Like I think it was
Yun lang ang pinambayad niya sa'yo muna.
Because I got money or anything like that. She was like, hey, you don't have to give me anything, it's fine. But she gave me fruits because she was selling.
So, wow.
So I moments like that, it reminds me why I do what I do. Like, as cliche as this may sound, a lot of people go in it. If you're in it for the money, and as a doctor of physical therapy, I don't think you'll survive because it's you really need to have that intrinsic,
the heart.
Sure, if you want to say that, because I grew up in that environment. I think that's what gets me up in the morning, is just to make a difference in people's lives. Very simple stretch like that.
So how do you manage like those moments, that it comes to, you have to make a decision that, has to be business versus puso. Right? So, paano mo siya nakokontrol? Kasi I see in you, the help is just natural in you, di ba? So, kailan ka nagde-decide na, you know what, I can't, I need that much, alam mo yan, I can only do this for you, and then,
it's difficult because you also have to deal with insurance and, like big corporation, and you also have to deal with the legalities of things and everything. So, it's difficult. It's like, okay, I really want this person to get more visits, pero I can't do anything about it because I can't, because that's what their insurance is up. I can't do anything. So I do, if I need to go over and beyond, I think I do that. Like if I can, I don't care even if I don't get paid. I've done this plenty of times where I get off. I'm supposed to get off at 6, but sometimes I would get off at 6:30 or 7, just to like kind of just teach them what to do. So that way, I feel like ethically I can sleep. I could sleep at night knowing that I did everything that I can. It can be very, very draining and tiring.
Oh wow, that's my question to you. Yun nga, what was your draining moments?
Draining moments?
May mga draining ka bang na when you're
school or like work?
Nasa work na tayo ngayon.
Okay, wait. Yeah. Draining moments would be when I have to be the bearer of bad news. For example, I work with a lot of people who do hard labor jobs, construction workers, people from different countries. And they would tell me, this is what I do for a living. I broke my back. And I cannot feed my family anymore. And I cannot do the same things that I do. So, anong sasabihin ko? What do I say? It's like, hey, you need to find a different job. But then a lot of them cannot speak English. So it's like, so sometimes I could get out of my scope of practice, but I can't. It's like, okay, do you have any other alternative things that you can do? Can you, I don't know, drive Uber? Is that, something that you can do? Because I think hard labor jobs, you can't do that anymore. That's the reason why you broke your back.
Oh, okay.
So that's very draining to me. I as much as I can, like I don't want to take it home, but sometimes I do, and that's why I'm lucky enough to.
Nauuwi mo ba?
Yeah, I do. You could tell I'm lucky enough to have a wonderful partner and girlfriend that is in the same boat as me. She's also a doctor of psychology, so she understands.
Oh really? Oh wow.
So she also understands what we serve the same patient population. So it's as a clinician, you have to have empathy and compassion.
Yeah.
If you don't,
kumbaga may bumagsak sa harapan mo.
you have to. I feel like if you don't have that, then I think you're in the wrong field. People who are in it for the money do not belong there. I can unequivocally say that if you're in the medical field just for the money, you're not supposed to be there.
Oh, wow.
Zero. You have no place in the medical field.
Tama naman talaga. Kung pera lang talaga yung magpapaanda. Yeah, I always think that way too. I've been to a lot of jobs already, and then the job that I'm in it right now is I think hindi money nagpapa-drive sa akin. It's more like I'm just happy of what I'm doing. I just like speak because I'm a hotelier, so I just like talking to people. I just like people, period. So that's so true. Like if just money that will drive you, you'll be tired the whole time. You'll be not so inspired, and then you're gonna keep looking for happiness on what you're doing.
Completely agree.
That's it.
If I don't mind, to turn tables on you, I know you're interviewing. What drives Josh to get up in the morning and do what you do?
Wow, there's a lot. First is I've always been inspired of what I'm doing, and at the same time also I love because right now I'm becoming more spiritual, and I feel that if I focus on doing a lot of things when being passionate, love and like do the things that I'm really happy about. That drives me. But the most thing that drives me the most now is my goals. Actually,
Sure.
my goals, whether it's self for like my health, and then at the same time also this project. One of the thing that the mission that I want here is I just want to raise awareness. I just want to raise consciousness so that people can hear this kind of story. They can live better lives by just like getting some input from you, alam mo, from my other guests. So I think that drives me happy. Diba?
Wow. Ikaw na besh.
So okay, ako yung na-interview.
Josh.
Proud moment naman. Kasi alam ko naman, every time may gumagaling na pasyente, proud moment of the doctor. Pero ano yung pinaka-proud moment para sa'yo when itong sa job mo?
My grandmother just passed away about 3 weeks ago. And I would say that I was helping. She had suffered a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that it was difficult. I had to quit my job, which I loved, for 2 years. Me and my mom, she quit her job, I quit my job, and we took care of her 24/7. So I would say I was happy that I did everything that I can. I did not earn a single cent, but I had to choose between work and taking care of my grandma. So my grandfather's words reverberated in my head. It's like, what will get you up in the morning? Is it the money or helping out your family? So I chose.
Uy, nakakatuwa.
So I just started working again about a month ago because my grandma passed away.
Ang galing. Pero like 3 weeks ago, how's the family now? Okay naman na.
We're coping. My mom, I think, is doing. She's doing her best, and I'm just making sure that we're we're trying, and we're all going. We're trying. So I'm just making sure she's okay because she did it really. She's the
Was it
primary
sudden?
care.
Was it like biglaan?
No, it was progressive.
Progressive.
And so it really took a toll on her because she was the primary caregiver.